Sports Kings.
Sports Kings.
He might fall off the wagon in the next 10 minutes.
Rob Calloway.
It's about bringing talent. It's not about all the flash and glitz and glam.
Not your average sports talk show. The Sports Kings.
This is NFL legend Work Done.
It's your boy D. Howard, a.k.a. Superman.
I'm Jerome Bettis, the bus.
It's Cam Newton. Holla at your boy already.
This is Hank Aaron, and I'm down with the King.
Tell a friend, Kings is back.
And welcome into a Wednesday on the Sports Kings podcast. Yours truly, Big Mike. No Rob Calloway today. He's out in these Atlanta streets doing something, God knows what, but I'll be flying solo for the next 2 hours, so enjoy or not. Being heard via Spreaker.com, and make sure you guys follow us and like us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Sports Kings Live. Make sure as well you email the show, sportskingslive@gmail.com is that email address. As well, you guys can contribute in a monetary way to the show if you go to gofundme.com/SportsKingsLive. Now, wow, man, I hate that there's nothing to talk about today. Oh, wait. Yeah. Aaron Hernandez got life today, and good. Good. And if you have been hiding under a rock somewhere and you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is what it sounded like earlier today in a, where is he at? In Massachusetts? In a Massachusetts courtroom? Or was he in Connecticut? Wherever he was, somewhere in the Northeast, in a courtroom. This is what it sounded like.
Madam Foreperson, on indictment 2013-983-A, charging the defendant Aaron Hernandez with murder. What say you, Madam Foreperson? Is the defendant not guilty of murder in the first degree, or guilty of murder in the second degree?
Guilty of murder in the first degree.
Madam Foreperson, by which theory or theories, deliberate premeditation and or extreme atrocity or cruelty?
Extreme atrocity or cruelty.
Indictment 2013-983-B, charging the defendant Aaron Hernandez with unlawful possession of a firearm while not at home or work. What say you, Madam Foreperson? Is the defendant not guilty or guilty?
Guilty.
Indictment 2013-983-C, charging the defendant Aaron Hernandez with unlawful possession of ammunition. What say you, Madam Foreperson? Is the defendant not guilty or guilty?
Guilty.
Yes, you heard right. Aaron Hernandez, guilty on 6 charges. The most glaring, the first-degree murder charge of one Odin Lloyd, the brother of his girlfriend's, how's it go now? His girlfriend's friend's brother or sister's brother, something of that nature. So yeah, it's finally over. After 6 days of deliberation, the jury came back with a guilty verdict on all 6 charges. We're going to get a little bit more into that as I go along this hour. Some of the other things I want to touch on before my 2 hours is up today. The NBA. I misspoke yesterday because obviously I'm an idiot, and I heard Anthony Davis talk about how, after they won their game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, they get a day of rest, and then they come back, and then they play for all the marbles. Well, for some reason, I heard a day of rest and thought that meant a couple of hours, and they were going to play yesterday. And I told you guys by today, when we got the chance to start recording today, we would know the playoff matchups. That was totally incorrect, but I will make up for it today. I have all the playoff matchups, even though by the time some of you guys hear this, they'll all be settled anyway. But I'll still go through that. We got some other NBA stories as well to get into as we get closer and closer to the big fight. Yes, indeed. For some reason, Freddie Roach wants to continue to talk. By all means, I need the information today anyway. So whatever. I didn't get into my NCAA stuff yesterday, so I'll do that today, as well as my Major League Baseball talk. Now, back to the world of, I'm going to call it the world of the NFL. And by the way, today is not only Wednesday, it is
Hump Day!
Yes, and that phrase has taken on a whole new meaning for one Aaron Hernandez, who will find himself in the pokey with the Booty Warrior for the rest of his life. The Booty Warrior being Fleece Johnson of Locked Up fame on MSNBC.
Somebody's going to have to give us some booty.
You're right, Fleece, and it's probably going to be Aaron Hernandez. And good. He will be incarcerated for the duration of his life in Boston, Massachusetts. That's where the courtroom is. In Boston, Massachusetts, there is no parole in a capital murder case. And that was the importance of them convicting him of first-degree murder. You heard them say that the crime was heinous but not premeditated. The jury later spoke on that determination, how they made the determination, and that it was based on the fact that they shot the dude 6 times, and the coroner testified that any one of the shots could have killed him, but they chose to, and I say they because I mean him and the other 2 dudes that he was with, they chose to shoot him, Odin Lloyd, 6 times. Today is also tax day, so hope some of y'all don't hear this tomorrow, and you've forgotten and you ain't paid the tax man, because could spell problems for you if you don't file an extension. So that's my public service duty for today. That's my nice guy move for today. I can go back to being my regular bad guy self. Like I said before, he's convicted on all 6 charges. Let me tell you guys real quick what those charges are. Where are my notes here? Definitely one is the weapons charge, and the even though they didn't find a murder weapon for this particular crime, the weapons charge didn't stem from that. It stemmed from the .22 caliber pistol that is being linked to the other shooting. I think it's linked to the other shooting in Boston, or a shooting a while ago while he was at Florida. This dude has shot so many people, or is alleged to have shot so many people, it's ridiculous. So he caught 2 firearms charges for illegally possessing the handgun used in the crime and illegally possessing the .22 caliber ammunition. So yeah, I'm sorry, it is both of the guns. So those are the premier of the 6 charges that he was convicted of or found guilty of. Also, when anytime something like this happens, I always think of the kind of ripple effect. Like Odin Lloyd is like the victim. If you're talking about like a pyramid type situation, he's the victim. He's the guy at the top. But there's so many other people affected by this, and it's one of those, and the least of which, I heard people talking about the lives that were lost in this, and even Aaron Hernandez's life his life wasn't lost. He gave his life away. Whatever. Like, that don't even fit into the category that I'm talking about. Like, as far as the people who are being affected and are going to be traumatized by this, he's not in the category. Not one freaking iota. Now, talking about the people affected by this, Odin Lloyd's family, his mom, she lost her baby boy, and that's always, it's a tough thing to hear if you're anybody. If in fact you're anybody, it's a tough thing to hear. But when you're a parent yourself and you hear about a parent losing their child, it's something that really, really hits home. If I can go back for a second, I forgot that I had the sound of the actual sentencing being passed down. So I want you guys to make sure, if you hadn't heard this all day long on ESPN or any other news publication or sports publication or a sports channel or whatever, that I give you guys the opportunity to take you inside the courtroom a little bit so you can hear exactly what was said to Aaron Hernandez.
You are sentenced by order of the court as follows. You are committed to the MCI Cedar Junction for the term of your natural life without the possibility of parole.
His natural life without the possibility of parole. And the fact of the matter is, he's got, and I need to make sure I correct this as well. For the longest, I've been saying he's got another murder trial, 2 murders to face in Florida, when actually that case was never brought against him. The shooting in Florida while he was in school was never brought against him. This is a double shooting, a double homicide that went down in Boston. Another one, apparently or allegedly behind some spilled drinks. my man, good luck. And I don't mean that either. But back to the victims. Odin Lloyd's mom, it's one of the, I don't know, it's a hard thing to see this woman and her, and I know she has, you can tell by hearing her speak, she's a very religiously convicted woman. So she actually extended her forgiveness to Aaron Hernandez and asked that at some point that we all forgive him. It ain't for me to forgive, if I can be blunt and honest about it, because it wasn't my family. But if it were, yeah, hell no, I'm not forgiving. Like, I don't believe in that whole situation there. Like, if you wrong me and you wrong somebody close to me, one of my loved ones, especially in this matter, there is no forgiveness. I hope everything in the world that can possibly go bad for you does 10 times over. No freaking way. And I understand some people, are into their religion and, like I say, convicted by their religion to do certain things. But that situation, not in me, not one bit. Like I say, I'm getting back to my bad guy stuff because, well, you can call it bad guy, but, I don't see it. I don't see it. And I lay my head on the ground, my head on my pillow every night, knowing and hoping that while you're incarcerated for the next how many ever years you're alive, that absolute horrible things are happening to you. Horrible. Now, speaking of our Odin Lloyd's mom, Miss Ursula Ward, she stood up and spoke after everything was said and done, after the sentencing was done, or it may have been before the sentencing. I'm not 100% sure while I was watching today. But it was definitely after the verdict was read. And here's some of what she said about who her son was to their family. It's kind of long, so you guys bear with me, but I think it's worth hearing all of this.
Odin was my only son. Odin was the backbone of the family. Odin was the man of the house. Odin was his sisters, Olivia and Shakira. And after my daughter Olivia had her daughter Sanaya, Odin became Sanaya's keeper also. Olivia and Shakira had 2 sons, Amari and Chancellor, who would never know their uncle Odin. Odin gave me a beautiful gift before he was born, and that has introduced me to his girlfriend. Odin was my first best gift I ever received.
So you see what I'm saying? Like, all those people she mentioned, his sister's kids, all those people, his girlfriend, who actually now I think about it, let me make sure I clarify what I couldn't remember, is the sister of Aaron Hernandez's fiance. That's how that whole thing, how everything in their relationship is linked together. But when I'm talking about victims, it's those people. You know what I mean? She talked about how his nephews will never get a chance to know him. So obviously they're still babies. They're too young to even, be able to, once they get to a certain age, remember who their uncle was. And when you hear his mom talk, you hear the heartbreak in her voice. It's just, it's bone chilling, man, that someone would just so casually take the life of another human being for apparently no reason. There are speculations that Odin Lloyd may have been present at the time of the Boston shooting, and he may have known some things, or there's the other theory that he was hanging out with some people that Aaron Hernandez didn't like. Either situation, ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. And I want to say something about the guy, too, about Odin Lloyd. Like, it's not somebody that I know or anything of that nature. I'm sure that's kind of obvious, but I've seen these exposés done on Aaron Hernandez and his background, and Odin Lloyd, his story was a part of him as well. Also, hearing his mom talk, usually you hear these things happen, and everyone paints the victim as some sort of saint and very, very good person. And a lot of times you realize that that's what you do, because people don't talk bad about the dead. I'll say this about Odin Lloyd. What his parents have said about him, or his mom, has said about him, what I've heard reporters, and when the special came on ESPN about Aaron Hernandez, and they talked to Odin Lloyd's, his semi-pro football coach, and some of the people that worked with